Hello and welcome to Eyewitness Report on Channels Television. I am Yomi Otaigbe. This edition of the program is an update on recent accidents involving tanker explosions in Ogun and Lagos states. Do stay with us for the details. It's been over a week since a liquefied petroleum gas tanker exploded along the Mobolaji Bank Anthony Way in Ikeja, Lagos State, and another on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. This report takes a holistic view on these ugly menaces captured by eyewitness reporters.
A video taken by an eyewitness on the night of Thursday, June the 17th, shows panic and confusion by passers-by as fire from a liquefied petroleum gas tanker explosion burns uncontrollably for hours, ravaging everything within the path leading into the premises of Ogun State Property and Investment Corporation Opic Plaza on Mobolaji Bank Anthony Way in Ikeja. Firefighting operation concludes by 1 a.m. the following day. Occupants of the plaza resumed in the morning to the site of shocking wreckage. The inferno leaves in its trail wanton damages to lives and property. The worst hit is a Chinese restaurant.
We received the call around 22-25 hours. We turned out 3 stations at a go. On getting here, we got to know that it was a massive explosion. And as it came from a truck, a damaged truck, with the content of gas that was forcing in front of the plaza. The leakage of the gas saturated the environment. There is a kitchen, restaurant, baking, cooking going on in the plaza, which attracted the gas, the fume. As a result, it led to the explosive. We count vehicles of 24 of different make and design involved, including the truck, the gas truck, make it 25. We recover 3 dead and 13 alive as at this morning. But the searching operation is still ongoing. We will make sure that either dead or alive still know in the premises until we leave, take our leave.
Ideally, what should happen? 2 things. Once there is an external force on a truck, an LPG truck or a gas truck, there should be shutdown valves, either manual or automatic. We're still investigating why this did not trigger. Because if this had happened, there wouldn't have been the gas leakage in the first instance. But the gas leaked, there's a canteen at the back where they're preparing food. And obviously flammables, and there was crystallization, and there was an explosion.
Unlike the Chinese restaurant, some suites are lucky to suffer minor damages.
I think it was the heat of the fire that just bring down the roof of our office, and the glass everywhere was destabilized, and the doors, we cannot open the door, we don't have access as we speak. We have not lost any of that thing. Our documents, the laptops, they are all intact as we speak. We didn't break in, we just opened the doors more and we gain access. We have to move some of our things that are very, very useful to us so that we can take them on, so that for now we can go and be working from home.
I live in Apapa for the past 35 years. Every day I'm moving is a nightmare for me because the tanker everywhere. That explosive, the information we had and through the CCTV camera, that the tanker is an old tanker moving from Maryland. They push him. Push. Said stop near Total. They push him. They stop here. They push him. Then they stop near that parcel of land. All what happened here is in less than 1 minute, everything is a ball of fire, burn everybody. This is Lagos. This is the beauty of Lagos. This is Radisson, this is Sheraton, this is a lot of hotel. What we need more safety about those tankers. Is a time bombing moving everywhere.
Apart from the first responders, including Lagos State Fire Service, LASEMA and NEMA, the fire incident attracts the police and several other disaster management and emergency response assessing the damage. The fire outbreak is a big tragedy to the owners and managers of the plaza as well.
Opic Plaza is a major commercial center. We have close to 100 businesses in the building, and we thank God that this issue did not happen when people were in the building. Unfortunately, the loss of life is very, very grievous. I mean, you have people who are just doing their daily endeavor, okay, and fire came from outside to come and, exterminate their lives. I mean, people were in the restaurant, having meals, and, this happened unknowingly. I mean, the truck was out there, was going on the road, had a problem, had leakages, and then it got to a point just before Sheraton there. The back section and the front section got disconnected. So the valves and all, gas just started spewing out. And, the gas was now coming windward, into the building. And before you know it, it had already reached the restaurant, and the explosion of the tanks, the gas tanks outside, that was taking gas into the building, exploded. The first one exploded. Second one started leaking. The explosion actually threw fire into the service area at the back where you have the generators. And then, of course, diesel and all that also started. So all the cars you see out here, the gas that came into the building threw fire back at them.
My primary concern here is not so much of what we have lost in terms of properties, but the lives that have been lost. And I'm here primarily to commiserate with the families of the deceased. The Lagos State LASEMA needs to carry out what is called the assessment of the extent of damage. Until we get this report, not only that, they're also going to carry out what is called the integrity test on the building to know whether we can still accommodate the tenants, or we ask all of them we evacuate all of them until when the building is put back into habitable use.
The Ogun State Governor, Dr. ABIODUN, takes a tour of the explosion scene to assess the extent of damage and to sympathize with tenants in the state-owned property. He is briefed by the General Manager of the Lagos State Emergency Management Agency, LASEMA, Femi Osaintolu, on the situation report. Sadly, the report is not pleasing, as the number of casualties increased on his arrival.
Unfortunately, from the 13 that were rescued and hospitalized at 2 different hospitals, we have also recorded an extra 5 deaths. So we have, in total, as of the last count, 8 casualties. I want to thank the Lagos State medical team as well. I want to thank my team from the Ministry of Special Duties, the MD of Opic. They have been working hand in hand with the Lagos State team. We'll continue to pray for those that have, the soul of those that have departed in this very unfortunate incident. The loss of vehicles, at the last count there are about 23 vehicles that also have been burnt, probably beyond repair. There are definitely lessons to be learned from this incident. A truck, an LPG truck, breaks down on the highway. And you'd assume that that is just another case of a broken down vehicle. And the first thing is to begin to look at all these trucks carrying petroleum products. How can we ensure that they are safe on our roads? Can you imagine if this incident happened while this truck was in traffic? In rush hour traffic. Can you imagine the level of damage and casualty? So I was talking to the DG LASEMA that we must sit down and think through how we can mitigate against the future occurrence of incidences like this. This must not be allowed to happen again. So we must sit down with the members of the Department of Petroleum Resources to determine how we can introduce extra safety measures. Yes, we want to promote the penetration of LPG as against the use of kerosene. However, we cannot afford to do that at the expense of the safety of human lives.
Calm returns to the premises of the plaza days after the gas explosion. The site, which was littered with rubble, is being tidied up by the occupants. Some are busy sorting out valuable items from the wreckage. All 25 vehicles engulfed in the inferno have been cleared. However, some are yet to come to terms with the damage done to the source of their livelihood.
You can see everybody now is at it. We are hungry, no food, no transport, no water. We are just here on our own. They have now telling us to evacuate the remaining debris. Where are we evacuating them to? No provision for that. So I implore government, please, to come to our aid.
A supermarket in the plaza, which was also affected by the explosion, appears not to have suffered much damage, except for a partition that served as a salon being replaced. Affected areas within the store have been fixed and the owners are eager to resume business.
You've seen how we have done the big job, clearing all the area, not cars, trimming the tree. Our supermarket is ready 100% to operate with all the safety requirement.
At first, they said I think it's going to be up to a month. But later on, they put pressure on it. They started to make their own investigation, and I hope everything is okay. And we're going to get back normal, stronger with all hands together.
Again, the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, reveals an increase in the number of casualties.
As early as 6 a.m., we were there to carry out rescue operation in case, because a woman among the injured was saying her child was left behind. That night, we tried as much as we can to track the baby, so we didn't see anyone inside the plaza. So the following morning by 6, we were there. Unfortunately, where we did not expect incidents to happen, that was where we found 3 men who were never touched by any fire, because the bodies do not show any sign of burns. But we saw them under rubble of buildings that collapsed. And where we recovered them from was something like a store, where you see refrigerators and some food items packed there. So the condition we met them was really, really sad. Maybe because of that condition, that was why we were not able to detect people who were trapped there on Thursday. So we recovered them. We were trying to do mopping up of everything. Then we were receiving visitors. Suddenly, we were called that 2 more people died. On the second day, that was Friday. From there, a lot of activities took place and post-emergency phase activities. But as of Tuesday evening, 9 of them have been reported dead. That was in addition to the 3 we recovered. So that means 4 from the injured died also. So some families have been claiming the bodies of the dead and the injured.
Welcome back. In continuation of our focus on accidents involving heavy-duty vehicles, let's take a look at how policies can be implemented to tackle this increasing danger.
While the victims of Opic Plaza gas explosion are grappling with their losses, an eyewitness sent in this video of heavy-duty vehicles in flames in another explosion involving a fuel tanker at Ogere axis of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Most of the vehicles involved are highly inflammable, carrying liquefied petroleum gas and premium motor spirits. The accident occurred at about 6 a.m. on Tuesday, June the 22nd, and halted traffic outward Lagos for hours. The damage is already done when firefighters and other emergency responders arrived. The charred remains of the vehicle still litter the stretch of the road as firefighters extinguish smoldering blaze.
The result of, a PMS-laden tanker colliding with another trailer tanker ahead of it because of loss of brake and loss of control, and thereby fire ignited, and PMS being what it is, ignited the whole line of vehicles. There's a total of 13 vehicles involved. 6 tankers, all loaded, 5 trailers and 2 smaller cars. 2 lives are lost, people burnt beyond recognition, and 1 person was rescued alive and taken to private clinic in Ogere.
The Ogun State Deputy Governor, along with some top government officials, visited the scene of the accident.
I would like to thank the members of the public who have been cooperating with the security forces. As you can see, there's a lot of calm here. Law and order has not broken down, and people are following the traffic restrictions. We have spoken to the contractor, and they will find a way to help with the diversion so as to ease the movement of traffic. Going forward, the agencies have advised us that some fuel-laden tankers are still on the road. The fires have been smothered, but we need to ensure that everything is completely out and the temperature of the vehicles is brought down before transloading of the fuel can occur.
In the course of evacuating the burnt vehicles, the content of a trunk was offloaded and destroyed.
One of the vehicles involved was conveying frozen food, which is a fish, and it was engulfed in that inferno. And during the course of spraying with chemicals, the frozen food got contaminated. And we had to invite the officials from the Public Health Department of the Ministry of Health to certify the condition of the frozen food. And it was declared not fit for human consumption. No responsible government will fold its arms without taking action. So what we are witnessing this afternoon had to do with the destruction of those frozen foods, because it shouldn't get to members of the public. It is dangerous for health, and no responsible government will allow it to go out.
Between May and June, several truck and tanker-related accidents were recorded along the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, as well as gas explosions within Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital. On June the 19th, 2 people were sadly crushed to death by a truck along Ibeche Road in Yewan North local government area of Ogun State. The truck veered off its lane and faced an incoming motorcycle and crushes both the driver and his passenger. On June the 16th, 5 people were reportedly burnt to death, while 2 others sustained serious injuries after a diesel-laden tanker exploded at the Gilete axis of Owode-Idiroko Road. According to the Federal Road Safety Corps, the tanker was descending a slopey road when its tank fell off and went up in flames. Between 12th and 20th of May, at least 6 people were also killed, with many injured by multiple gas explosions in different parts of Abeokuta, including the Olusegun Presidential Library and the Conference Hotel. Amidst this incessant accident, one wonders where the problem lies and whether safety requirements and guidelines for articulated trailers and tankers are enforced. In an exclusive interview, PASCHAL ACHUNINE of Health Emergency Initiative identifies some of the challenges and what should be done.
I see lack of political will among the leaders, perhaps because there has been allegations that most of the tankers or trucks are owned by political office holders. So some, you may say, a politician who has as much as 250 trucks. So even if there's an infraction or breach of regulation by a driver or by an operator, By the time you pick the person and take to the police station, a few days after, somehow the person is out of the place, no persecution. So lack of political will can be traced to, if you're a chief executive of a state, or if you have a chief executive of an agency, what would demonstrate to people that you have the political will is that, okay, XYZ happened from this incident, and this person, there was somebody goofed, either a regulator goofed or an operator goofed. And there was diligent persecution that led to jail terms. 1, 2, 3, 4 persons were jailed because they put trucks that were not roadworthy on the road, or they had somebody who was under influence of alcohol or some drugs, and as a result created a carnage that took so many lives. So lack of political will is a critical area. Second is there has been no intentionality to track what is the root cause analysis of this. Part of it is they work in silos, the regulators. If there is synergy, if FRSC, if Lagos State Safety Commission, if the police, if VIO, if DPR, they work as a team, they synergize. Okay, from this end to this point, this is quality assurance that must be in place before any truck is on the road. And that, if we can see obviously that it is not happening, because DPR may perhaps do their vetting or assessment at the point, maybe only from the context of loading, without looking at how roadworthy is that vehicle. The person operating that vehicle, is in the right state? Are there periodic cases where, whether it's FRSC or so, they stop and check whether somebody is under the influence of drugs? And there is a mobile court that everybody can see that try the person, even before the incident happens. You do it 2, 3, 4 times for a quarter, you will see that this will not happen again. Again, we have also another important element is we have seen that the rail system is coming back. In many societies, they do 2 things. One, this is an inflammable product. It can better be conveyed or carried through the rail system. On the other hand, you do not allow those vehicles to be on the road during the day. They can only come out at night. And there must have been strict regulation that shows this vehicle cannot be, this truck cannot be on the road except it passes this quality assurance.
According to the World Health Organization, road traffic injuries are the leading cause of death for children and young adults aged 5 to 29 years. The Global Health Agency reports that every year the lives of approximately 1.3 million people are cut short as a result of road traffic crash. Between 20 and 50 million more people suffer non-fatal injuries, with many incurring a disability as a result of their injury. In 2015, the National Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers, NUPENG, entered into a partnership with the Federal Road Safety Commission on periodic training of its petroleum tanker drivers. The training was necessitated by the frequent road accidents involving tanker drivers. Does the training still exist? If yes, what changes has it brought?
System changes. The man that you trained last year might have a different concept, a different situation, a different location and environment, and body, even psychological, this year. So we need to continue to train them, and the system is also dynamic. The system we are used to last year in the source of our road safety is different from what we are even having this year. Even policy differs. Last year, maybe when they were talking, the emphasis was not more on lashing of containers. Now it becomes a deliberate effort that we are putting in place this year to say all tankers or containers that are plying the road must be twist-locked and lashed. So if you live on the training of last year, things have changed this year. That's why it has to be a regular one. So I'm very much aware of what happened in 2016, but since I came to Lagos, apart from fractions of sensitizations we have been doing, we've not done that elaborate one. and have been trying to engage the union on the need for it to be sustained. Crashes do occur virtually every day in Lagos now, but you hardly hear of death involving containers falling again. Because unlike before, the containers were not lashed. They were not twisted. So when they throw off the containers on other vehicles. But these days, when they fall, they hold the containers to themselves. The vehicle falls with the container, along with the containers, and lives are saved. But the summary of all is that let every content be in the area where it belongs. PMS belongs to the pipe. Containers belongs to the rail. If we have about 500, a railway taking about 500 containers, is as good as taking about 500 trucks from Nigerian roads. You can imagine the relief. So I'm sure by the time we are through with harmonizing all this and we have proper integration, then the problem we are looking towards will become a thing of the past.
The safe system approach to road safety aims to ensure a safe transport system for all road users. Such an approach takes into account people's vulnerability to serious injuries in road traffic crashes and recognizing that the system should be designed to be forgiving of human error. These approaches are for safe roads and roadsides, safe speed, safe vehicles and safe road users, all of which must be addressed in order to eliminate fatal crashes and reduce serious injuries.
That's how we wrap up the program for this week. Thank you for watching. I am Yomi Otaibi.